Okay, guaranteed to be the shortest tutorial I've ever done. In class, we render, as you're supposed to for an animation, we render out individual frames. We don't render to QuickTime movies because if, you have a crash at frame 137 of 140 frames, you're going to wreck your QuickTime movie or have to splice it and all this other stuff. So you render frames in case you run into any problems, as we've discussed in class. But then after you render out all those frames into a folder, how do you create a QuickTime movie so that you can look at that? Now, certainly the more advanced way, and if you're going to do a bunch of editing or color correcting and things like that, you'll want to do this in After Effects or Premiere. I'm not going to deal with that today. This is the whole idea of just how can I quickly create a QuickTime movie for me to look at my render, and also how to create a QuickTime movie so I can submit it for the assignment in class. So I've got Cinema up here. I've done the render for this animation. This little thing happens here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up QuickTime. And again, this is kind of a Mac-centric solution. We don't have Windows machines in the lab, except for just some of the rendering, so I'm not going to worry about that. But let's see, where did I put this? Movies, render catch. Okay, so inside this folder, Mosphere number 3, I have a bunch of frames that I created. In fact, let's go, before we look in here, when I open up QuickTime, instead of opening a new opening a file, and we're not creating a new movie recording like a screen capture or anything, what we want to do is open image sequence, right? And we'll bring this over there. And if I just select the folder that those frames are in and click on choose media, it will load all these as a sequence because it got rendered with these little numbers, right? What frame it is, so it understands how to stitch it all together. If you went into the folder and so you were just looking at all the frames, you'd have to click and select all the frames so that they would get loaded. But that's not really the best way to do it. I would just click on the folder itself and choose media, and it will bring up all those files in the folder that are sequenced there. So make sure when you render out into different folders. Okay. So the next part is what's the final resolution? I'm assuming you would just keep it at actual size. But if you needed to crunch it down to a smaller size for whatever reason, you can do that here. Hopefully you rendered at 24 frames per second. That's what we do in all the class. And then the important part here is encoded for. So there's 3 codices. So basically this is the compress and decompress formatting that we use to take the files and turn them into computer code and turn them back into visuals when we watch something. So for greater compatibility, it's set to H.264, which is very much an industry standard. You'll see the next one down here for smaller file size and actually a little better quality is HEVC. What does it stand for? Higher efficiency video compression. The other one here I think is AVC, which I'm assuming is advanced video compression. Anyways, but the smaller file size here, HEVC, is actually H.265. So it's just the next one, and it's a little more efficient, especially for dealing with 4K streaming video. You can choose either one of these based on your needs. I won't split hairs about it. But the last one here is higher quality, and this is ProRes, which is Apple's kind of standard for giving a really high quality, though certainly larger file format. This is the one that I want you to use when you turn in your QuickTime movies for class. Part of this is, with these others, they're smaller file size, but they compress the image. If you have really subtle shadow details, it might get a little blocky, or you might lose that. Especially if you have gradients, which we have a lot of when we're just creating like these soft backgrounds, right, for objects that we model. So for all formats that you would submit, or for all animation assignments, you would choose the ProRes high quality format. If you want to send something out to a friend or post it on the web, then use one of these. But you can always load it twice, right? In those image sequences and create different versions. But I'm going to do just the ProRes. And then I'll just say open, and you'll see a little time bar comes up. And then immediately I have my movie in here. And of course I can test it out, see what happens. Hey, that looks great. And again, some of this little subtle detail that's going on, of course I'm compressing this video, so you're probably not going to be able to see it. But on my screen, this looks great. Right? I don't see any kind of image quality loss. And then if I can go up to do file and save, or if I just try to close it because it's untitled, it will want to know, what to save this. So, my Annie project, let's call it a assignment version 1. Okay, whatever it's going to be, right? And you would save it. I'm not going to save this because I've already saved that file. Well, maybe I will. I'll just put it back in here and I'll say save, and it's done. So then you would have that QuickTime, and you would just upload that for your assignment, right? So again, QuickTime, or using After Effects or Premiere, so you can levels adjustment or stream different, or put different renders together in a demo reel. That's your kind of pro way to do that. But if you just have a render, everything looks great, and you just want to spit it out as a QuickTime movie, that's a really easy way to do it, and that's what we'll do for our assignments. Okay.